Hello, my name is Daniel Ayala. I am the Texas Environmental Democratic Caucus president. I love Progress Texas because their values completely align with mine. I'm a part of the Texas Progressive Caucus, and I know that Progress Texas has done a lot to help us out in various races and to help push the progressive agenda that we need to have here in the state of Texas. There's this common misconception that our votes don't matter, and there's a lot of voter apathy these days, and I think that's exactly what the conservatives want people of Texas to feel. They want them to feel like they don't have a voice. They want them to feel like the status quo needs to stay the way it is. And we need to make sure that we rise up every moment, every election. We need the people to come out there and support the candidates that are pushing our progressive values.
It's Thursday, May the 1st, May Day 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Governor Greg Abbott is making a clear statement on how he perceives the relationship between Texas and the nation of Israel in an escalating battle that he's picking with the city of San Marcos. Maya Fawaz at KUT in Austin says the governor has threatened to cut off state funding to the city of San Marcos after its city council placed a Gaza ceasefire resolution on its agenda. Introduced by council members Alyssa Garza and Amanda Rodriguez, the largely symbolic resolution calls for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, an arms embargo on Israel, and recognition of Palestinian sovereignty. Similar resolutions have been passed in much larger cities like Portland, Detroit, and Oakland. Councilmember Rodriguez emphasized the resolution as a reflection of her community's moral concern over the situation in Gaza, not hate, saying, quote, speaking out against atrocity is not hate, it's humanity, unquote. In a letter to San Marcos Mayor Jane Hewson, Governor Abbott called the resolution pro-Hamas and anti-Semitic, warning it could violate Texas law, which prohibits state contracts with entities that boycott Israel. Abbott wrote, quote, anti-Israel policies are anti-Texas policies, unquote. Rodriguez disagrees, saying opposition to Israel's military actions in Gaza should not be equated with anti-Semitism, and that the resolution in fact explicitly condemns anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and xenophobia. Governor Abbott's zeal to support Israel is verging on an outright attack on free speech here. Meanwhile, Andrew Hay at Reuters reports that 4 current and former UT Austin students have sued the university and Governor Abbott, claiming they were unlawfully arrested and subjected to retaliatory discipline for protesting Israel's military actions in Gaza. The lawsuit is part of a broader wave of legal challenges across the U.S., filed by the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, or ADC, in federal court. It accuses UT Austin President Jay Hartzell, Governor Abbott, and law enforcement of suppressing free speech at an April 24, 2024 protest at the Austin campus by ordering mass arrests that violated students' First Amendment rights. According to the complaint, Abbott, with Hartzell's agreement, deployed state police in riot gear to detain protesters. 2 students in the lawsuit, Arwen Heilrain and Mia Cisco, described their traumatic experiences, including physical harm, panic attacks, and lasting emotional distress. Most demonstrators were released after 2 days when charges were dropped due to lack of probable cause, but all of the students who were arrested faced university disciplinary measures. ADC Director Abed Ayub emphasized that Americans, especially Texans, strongly value free speech and warned that Governor Abbott's actions underestimated public commitment to First Amendment rights. Sometimes it appears as though Texas Republicans at the Capitol are actually trying to continually achieve new heights of ridicule. Maddie Marks at KFW-TV in Dallas says a new Texas bill, the Forbidding Unlawful Representation of Role-Playing in Education Act, or the Furries Act, seeks to ban non-human behaviors in public schools, specifically targeting conduct associated with so-called furries. The bill prohibits students from presenting themselves as anything other than human while on school grounds and defines non-human behavior broadly. Prohibited actions would include using a litter box to relieve oneself, wearing accessories like tails, leashes, collars, fur, and animal-like ears, as well as making animal noises such as barking, meowing, or hissing. The proposed law bans Texas students from forming clubs or organizations related to non-human behavior or promoting such behavior as socially acceptable, and violations could result in removal from class, suspension or expulsion from school, or placement in juvenile justice alternative education programs. The schools are on the hook here too. Educators would be required to report infractions of this law to the Texas Attorney General's office. And school districts failing to enforce this law would face steep fines, starting at $10,000 for a first offense and increasing to $25,000 for repeat violations. All very serious stuff. to address a problem that does not appear to actually exist in Texas schools. Benjamin Worman at the Houston Chronicle says Smithville Republican State Rep Stan Gerdes, the author of this clearly very important bill, has been countered by the very school district in his hometown that he's claiming to protect here. Smithville ISD Superintendent Cheryl Burns has told the representative very directly that she has looked for furries in her schools and none are to be found, saying, quote, "At this time, the district has no concerns related to students behaving as anything but typical children," unquote. Gerdes expressed an expectation that an army of furries would descend upon the Capitol to oppose his legislation when it was heard, but none did on Tuesday. Frustration was evident on the face of Round Rock Representative James Tallarico as valuable time was wasted on this garbage. He said, quote, "I'm not comfortable with any bill that's going after a non-existent issue," unquote, and sees the furries bill as part of an ongoing effort by Republicans to undermine public schools. So incredibly stupid. Once again, today is May Day, International Workers' Day, a day for workers to celebrate the rights they've won for themselves and for those who follow, and to advocate for the continued defense of those rights. At Progress Texas, we celebrate working Texans of all backgrounds, honoring their contributions across the Lone Star State in every field of work. And we mark today as a renewal to our dedication to fight for justice in all aspects of the workforce. May Day rallies and protests are happening around Texas today, as you may know. Information on several is linked in the show notes about those happening in the bigger cities. Once again, we encourage your participation, and we further encourage you to keep things safe and legal and to maintain your personal discipline. Don't follow any spokesperson or the crowd into anything you're not sure you should be doing. Not only is voting essential, but voting is fun, and progressive Texans should be voting in every single election every time. Election Day is Saturday, May 3rd. Most county websites will have a sample ballot you should download and spend some time with beforehand. Lots more on voting in Texas at our online resource, which is govotetexas.org. San Antonio and Austin friends, Progress Texas is proud to welcome San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg as our guest for a live podcast taping at our Party for Progress on Tuesday, May the 6th, and you're invited. We look forward to a long overdue visit to Alamo City. Again, mark that date, Tuesday, May 6th, live pod taping with Mayor Ron Nirenberg and good fun with you in San Antonio. See the show notes and get your tickets right now. Thanks to Austin Kaplan and the Kaplan Law Firm, Nicolette Ardiente, Shannon Hernseer, Will Judy, Tracy Miller, Jeremy Nelson, Julianne Reeves, Patricia Smothers, Holly Taylor, and more for their generous support of our San Antonio Party for Progress. And DFW and North Texas friends, please mark your calendars for Monday, June the 9th. That's our 15th anniversary celebration in Dallas. We look forward to seeing y'all there as well. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light that we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular everyday listeners form a key component of our funding. And if that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate. Like Ruth Kurzweil Milburn, Nancy Daniels, and Denise Wilkerson all have lately. We appreciate all of y'all very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Thursday, May the 1st, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.